Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine and I'm here showing up, being authentically myself and hoping to inspire you to do the same. Today I want to talk about being kinder to ourselves, celebrating our wins, celebrating our successes and how far we've come. And I know that we often teach what we're most trying to learn. And that's definitely true in my case. I'm not good at celebrating my successes. It's something that I've just realized, and is something that I need to work on. And last week I heard a concept that I want to share with all of you, and it's actually called reverse gap thinking. So reverse gap thinking is where instead of thinking about your future goals and saying, okay, well, I'll celebrate when I get to that goal or when I achieve this, because let's face it, there's always another point to get to. So even when you reach a goal, well, there's another goal, there's another goal. So I think for a lot of us, including me, you achieve what you set out and you either don't celebrate it at all, which is my case, or you celebrate for 2 seconds and go, okay, great, so now what's next? And so that sort of puts us all on a treadmill of like, it's never enough, it's never enough. And I realized that I was in that space because I've been frantically running and trying to get things knocked off my to-do list. And I had a big wake-up call over the last couple of days, and I had a bit of a meltdown yesterday actually, because I was in such a state of heightened anxiety. Because what happened is that I went to the cottage this weekend. Maybe you saw the video that I filmed when I was there, but there's no internet at the cottage. So my big to-do list, which I keep on Evernote. Evernote is an online note-taking platform. It's great. Anyhow, I keep my to-do list on Evernote, and Evernote doesn't have like page numbers. It's just this continuous like long thing. You can put as much information onto each new note as you want. But because there was no internet at the cottage, I was like, okay, I'll transfer my to-do list onto a Word document, just in case I want to add to it or, make any changes or alterations. And I know it's been getting kind of full, so I was like, maybe I'll take some time to edit it. And when I transferred it from Evernote into a Word document, I had a bit of a shock, because it was 34 pages long. I'm not even joking. 34 pages long of to-dos and ideas and thoughts and like articles I want to write and quotes that I want to, explore, and just bits of writing that I'm like, okay, I can use this later for a blog post, and like just recipes that I want to make, ideas for writing, ideas for like, okay, how to organize my home and like how to do that, like the whole list, like just so jam-packed. And when I saw that, like 34 pages, I was like, oh my God. And it was so amazing to be at the cottage on the weekend because I chilled out. I was, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm pretty tanned. I was just lying on the dock and swimming and relaxing and just kind of having fun. I did a little bit of reading. I watched, I had put some episodes of The Golden Girls on my computer, so I watched some Golden Girls in the evening. It was great. But then I came home, and from having been away all weekend, my normal weekend to-dos weren't done. So on Monday, yesterday, I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, like, I'm at work, I have to get all these things done, and I have all these home things to like finish, and like my to-do list is so long and I don't even know where to start. And I was like, I gave myself an anxiety attack. And I talked to one of my girlfriends, and she was just like, you need to stop that, because this is not normal. 34-page to-do list. She's like, that's not normal. Anyway, she talked me through it, which is great. I'm so blessed to have great friends. And so what she said is, your to-do list should be max, like 10 items long, max. And that should be stuff that you're wanting to get done throughout the whole week, not just the day. Everything else is parking lot. So, you know, ideas that don't actually have to be executed right away, or, you know, they're things that you want to remember, and that maybe, you know, you don't want to lose the idea, and maybe you'll look at it, but maybe you won't. And so just, you know, do that. And so that's something that, you know, really helped me out. But this is where I want to go back to the whole reverse gap thinking, because most of us live in future gap thinking. So we're in the space of, here we are, and here's what we want to accomplish. And so we're constantly in the space of striving to get from where we are to where we want to be. And so we're always striving. We're like Gollum with the ring, right? Like, after my precious, like the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And we never really stop. So reverse gap thinking is taking where we are right now and then looking at where we came from. Where did you start? What was your starting point? How far have you come? Like, what are all the efforts you made to get to where you are now? Because chances are you've made progress, and celebrating that progress is so important. Because for myself, all I do is live in that future gap, in like, here's how much more I want to accomplish. Here's how much more I want to do. Even in the making of these videos, I had a major anxiety attack yesterday, because I was just like, instead of finding the joy in making them, which I really enjoy talking to all of you and sharing my thoughts, instead of doing that, it was like, okay, I have to find ways to like market myself. And I was like, like, it feels so overwhelming. And like the whole idea of building following and trying to, like, all of that is just like, no, that takes the fun out of it. And it makes me just, it's like then future gap thinking. It's like, well, here I am, and here's how far I have to go. And now, like, the whole process sucks and I don't want to do it anymore. And that's not the point. So instead, like, going back and reverse gap thinking and reminding myself in this example that I've been thinking about making videos for years, but because I was so caught up on perfection and like, oh, you know, all the stars have to align and I have to do this so perfectly, that like I just didn't do it. I was just frozen and I didn't do it. And so now I'm doing it, but instead of celebrating, hey, I'm showing up and I'm actually doing this, I'm just like, oh, here's how far I have to go. No, I need to focus on the fact that, like, I've spent years trying to get to a point where I'm making videos regularly and just contributing and putting my voice out there. And that's progress. That's progress. That's amazing. And so, you know, the question I'm leaving you with is, what areas in your life are you stuck in that future gap thinking and not looking at the reverse gap? Like, where did you start out? Where did you come from? You know, like, I want to give you other examples in my life so that maybe you can find them in your life. When I was 25, I was a complete couch potato. I did not exercise at all. Like, I was allergic to movement. And then I joined actually a running group. Not because I wanted to get fit or lose weight or whatever, but just I remember one day At work, I went up the stairs, I was winded, and that scared me because I thought I'm only 25 and I know that I want to travel. I want to do amazing things with my life. And if I don't make a change in my level of physical fitness, then that's going to have a negative impact on the amazing things I want to do in my life. And I'm not willing to give up the traveling aspirations and the I'm imagining myself being in a foreign country and trying to climb up some ancient pyramid or whatever and being either unable to do it or being so winded and exhausted that I can't enjoy it. And so that's why I joined, a running class and started to learn how to move my body, because when you've been a sloth your entire life, you don't know how to do that. And so now I'm 40 years old and I consider myself an athlete. I went from struggling to run for a minute. Literally, that was a struggle, like sustaining 1 full minute of running, to now I'll spin for 70 minutes, that's like 30 kilometers or something. And that's something that I can do on a good day. Like if I've had some good sleep, I can do 30 kilometers. My average is more like 25, like I'll do 25 kilometers twice a week. And that's about a 60-minute spin. So, and spinning, for those of you who don't know, that's like high intensity interval training. So I didn't make that progress overnight, but it's progress that I made. So instead of looking at like super athletes or Olympians who are doing more and thinking like, oh, well, my fitness level, I want to get more fit, I want to do more of that, and it's still not enough. I can look at where I came from and say, wow, I've actually made some progress, and it can just be in small areas, but pick things that you feel that you're failing at somehow because of a future gap, because you've set some sort of future goal, and instead of focusing on the progress you've made towards that goal, you're focusing on how far you still have to go. So take that and then reverse gap, think through. If you're trying to lose weight and you've got 50 pounds to lose, but you've lost 5 pounds or even 1 pound, okay, well, you're that much closer. You've made some progress. And if you keep doing the steps that you took to make that little bit of progress, you'll get to where you're going, but you need to acknowledge where you started. And I think what a lot of us do, certainly something that I do, is that instead of focusing on how far I've come, I compare where I am right now to somebody else's, lifetime achievement, or, they've been doing it forever and I'm still not there, and so I'm not good enough. And it's just like, no, we have to celebrate. We have to celebrate when we take steps in a positive direction. And this is something that BJ Fogg talks about in his book, Tiny Habits, where he talks about taking really tiny steps in the direction of what we're trying to accomplish and then celebrating every step of the way. And so that's something that I realized that I need to do. And that's what I want to leave you with today is, where do you need to celebrate yourself? Where do you need to give yourself a pat on the back and say, hey, well done, you did good? And you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to own the little baby successes that you make, because those are the things, those little baby steps, they're what are going to get you to that future goal. And so we got to celebrate, because if we don't, then we stop doing the little baby steps that eventually bring us to the goals and the successes that we're trying to reach. So that's what I'm leaving you with today. Where can you celebrate yourself? Where can you reverse gap? Where can you say, well, I'm not yet where I want to be, but I'm so far from where I started, and because of that, I'm awesome. So that's what I'm leaving you with today. I'm awesome. You're awesome. So go out there and just be your awesome, amazing self, because the world needs more awesome.